All right, welcome everybody to another episode of the new format of our show. So last week we talked about scamming your way into your first house, and then this week we have some a pretty cool topic on hand. So what's good, CP?
What's up, guys? This is CP right here. I'm doing pretty good, man. And actually, right now, I'm in the process of scamming my way into my second house. You know what I mean? So,
Hey,
so I'm trying to apply those rules and those tips and tricks to keep that going. So, yeah, man. How you doing, though?
I'm good. I'm good. If you haven't checked out our last episode, go ahead and check it out. I'm good. Just came back from DC. Went to the African American Museum. That was my first time visiting. That was a pretty powerful and intense experience, and got to explore DC a little bit, which is always pretty dope. It's one of my favorite cities.
Is that tour guided, or is it more like you have a headphone and they give you each piece as you walk through?
No, it's self. You just basically self explore. So the way it works is that you take an elevator all the way down to the basement, and then so the idea is that you start with slavery. Like no, you actually start with Africans in Africa, and then you go to slavery, and then segregation um, so basically the idea is that you're working your way out of the darkness into the light from the bottom up. So that's how it works.
Are there any parts about Haiti in there, bro?
Oh, for sure, for sure. They have a whole section on the Haitian Revolution. They have a statue of Toussaint Louverture. For people who don't know, he was really instrumental to the Haitian Revolution. Um, and yeah, they actually have a part about Haiti helping out with how Haiti influenced a lot of the revolutions in South America that people don't know about. Haiti actually helped out a lot of the countries in South America gain their freedom. They lended troops, arms, support, all of that. It was pretty realistic, man. Like it was very overwhelming, is what I would say.
That's what's up, man. Yeah, I need to check it out. I haven't been to it, so it sounds good. Sounds good.
Yeah, no, you definitely got to check it out. But for this episode, what we're going to be talking about is how to scam your first interview. So as you guys know, it's not easy getting a job in this corporate world, or not even corporate. Just getting a job, period, is hard. So and there seems to be a lot of recent grads that are wondering how to get a job, or people that are transitioning from their jobs that want to know what's the best way to do it. So we're gonna go ahead and get into that. So what's the first step, would you say, CP?
Well, so before we get to the steps, though, I wanted to see if we can talk about our experiences with getting our first, um, you know, salary W-2 job. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right.
Um, so I can talk about mine. I know. For me, in college, bro, like, I went to everything, bro. Anything that was a career fair, a meet and greet. I went to everything that I could possibly go to, and I talked to everybody that I saw. Even if I was not qualified, nigga, I'm gonna have my resume, hand it to you, and talk. You know what I'm saying? And so I think it was such a high stress environment. It was so stressful to get that first job that when it did happen, it was surreal. And so I don't know for you if it was an easy process, bro, but for me, I went to like two, three, four conferences, applied to like 100 different jobs, and so um, when I did get that first interview, I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know about negotiations. I didn't know, bro. I just kind of just went through it, as an experiment, And so, what was your experience for your first real job?
No, mine was pretty similar, man. I remember being in the going to the library every day and just applying for jobs, just applying left and right, and getting those emails denying me and telling me, "Oh, you're not qualified. We chose to go with another candidate." I gotta say, I sent out at least 300 job applications before I
Damn.
actually, yeah, man, like real shit, 300 minimum before I actually even got to an interview. Um, and because I was fresh out of college, nobody was looking to hire somebody without any experience, even though I had an internship, and I had worked different jobs, not in that field, but I worked them. So like you, I took any opportunity I had to network to learn more about the field and just getting my resume out there because you never know where that resume is gonna land. So that's my experience.
All right, so in that case, we'll start. So then we have about 8 steps for you guys today. The first step is to get your resume on point, right? Because the first thing that people are gonna see is that paper. They don't know who you are, what you do. If you're a lazy person, if you work hard, it doesn't matter. Like all they see is that paper and what's on it. So it has to be, very, very on point, and it has to stand out from everything else that they're getting. So, how do you make your resume kind of stand out from everybody else?
I would say, well, what I did was I actually went to a lot of colleges and universities. In their they have a career center. A lot of them have free help on how to get your resume together. So that's what I ended up doing because a lot of times companies will discriminate against your resume, and it's like little things, like little small little mistakes could disqualify you from a job. So the first thing I would do is just to make sure that there's no spelling errors, no mistakes in your resume. If you're gonna make sure that everything looks uniform, so if you're putting a period after a sentence, make sure that all the sentences in your resume have a period. Make sure that it's easy to read, that your name pops out, your address pops out, your email pops out. And then hype yourself up, man. Like if you like, let's say, okay, you worked at McDonald's and you like, I don't know, you cook fries and you made burgers at the same time. You multitasking, you know what I'm saying?
You're a
Like,
multitasker.
yeah, you told somebody to like work the register as you go do the drive through. You're delegating, so you
Mm.
just gotta like use. You gotta learn all the keywords, the power keywords that people use in those jobs. And where you can get it is from the job posting itself. The job posting will tell you what they need for that position. So you just take what they're asking for and tailor your experience to that, and then use a lot of their words and make your resume just pop out.
Yeah, and a lot of the time, it's not gonna be a person that's gonna go through your resume at first. It's gonna be going through like a search, pretty much, right? So it's gonna, as soon as you apply, it goes through like a little code and it looks for those words. And so if you don't have those keywords in there, you wouldn't even, like, you wouldn't even get to that first step. You know what I'm saying? So I always go to the posting and find those keywords and pull them out and put it in my resume so that mine get flagged on that little program and that I can get the first interview. So it's very important that you do that when you apply to these positions.
Yeah, I was reading something online. Some people said they actually copy and paste the whole job posting and put it in white. So basically, what they do is they put it in the Word document, they put it in white, and they hide it. So basically, when they run the software, all
Oh.
those words are popping up. I'm not telling y'all to do it. I'm just
Nigga,
saying what
that's
I
some
heard.
scam right there, bro. Damn, that's smart as shit, bro.
Right, right, right.
I might need to
But
hop on that, but nah, nah. That's crazy. But yeah, it's definitely because at first I thought like when I applied that it was gonna go through someone's email and they're gonna look at it and read it. Nah, it goes through a whole software, and then after that, it picks based on those keywords if you get to go to the other steps. So um, another thing I would add is like if you have a resume after you're done with it, I would get anybody that you can that you know of, have them look at it because you
yeah,
want to be able to have a different perspective. Look at your resume at least every quarter. Just say, hey man, or hey, whoever, do you mind just taking a few seconds to look at my resume because you don't know what they can add to your to your format or what you say or how you look at it, and it might be a whole different a resume. So that's really important.
no, that's true. Because when I put together a resume and I thought it was the best resume I ever put together, and I gave it to somebody. They're like, "Wow, this resume is pretty shitty." While that hurt my feelings, I needed to hear that because you need, like, if that person's thinking that, the person that's gonna give you a job just isn't gonna say anything. They're just gonna throw it in the garbage. So you need somebody that's honest, keeps it real, and is able to help you get your resume on point. So whether you send it to all your friends and you have them give you feedback on it, or you go to your career center and have somebody do it, or you hire a professional resume person to do it, which sometimes might be a waste of money, other times might be worth it. So there's different ways as long as you're getting your resume checked.
Yeah. And then to add to that, as far as getting it on point, if you know that you want to work, at a certain place and you need certain skills, if you can get an internship, do a side project or do a freelancing thing. You know what I'm saying? Anything that you can do to enhance your resume, and you have time on your hands, I would do it because you can then talk to, a recruiter and say, hey, I want to be able to do this kind of work, but I've done this as a side project, doing this software or this languages, you know what I mean? So you wouldn't be able to stand out from other people by doing things that not necessarily, internships or paid co-ops, but you know what I mean? But it's skills that you can transfer to that company and it's going to get you hired. So it's really important that you do extra stuff and go above and beyond to do shit that's needed in the workforce, today. So
Yeah, no, agreed. The more you can add to your resume, the better it is. And then just have different versions of your resume too. Don't just send one resume to all the companies. Just I would I don't know. I just had multiple versions of my resume ready, and then but just to vent real quick, I hate how you have to put your resume and then you got to go in and actually write what you did. I'm like, bro, I'm doing the same shit twice. That's such a waste of time. So,
what do you mean by doing it twice?
so when you're applying for a position, basically what you do is you attach your resume, right? And then
Mm-hmm.
it takes it from the word, it pulls like a lot of the words from your resume onto the website, and
Mm-hmm.
then you got to edit it and put like the time that you worked at different jobs,
Oh
the
yeah,
skills. I'm like, bruh, like I just did a resume. Why I got to do this shit again?
yeah, that is true. All right, so let's move on to step two. We have really important is to network, and that's key in this whole thing. And actually, out of all these steps, I think that one's probably the most important one. Honestly, is to network. And so, as I mentioned before, in college, I did that all the time. I would just go and meet people and just talk to them, right? So you wouldn't be able to do that too. And having that skill is so important even after you get hired because for you to advance at your job, you have to network with people, right? So it's really important that you learn how to, small talk, talk about whatever, sports, you name it, you know what I mean? So what I do is if I have an interview and I have the guy or girl's name is going to interview me, nigga, I go on Facebook, LinkedIn, I go Instagram, Snapchat. I find that
Hey,
person
you got to do what you got to do,
and I
bro.
find out what are they into, like what do they like on Netflix, what kind of shows are they into, what kind of hobbies they're like, fishing, music, and then I find it. So when I get there, small talk is easy, and I'm like, hey, you seen that show last night? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh yeah, I did, and then next thing you know, boom, you hit it off, right? But I was planning ahead of time just because I know that hey, so and so watches, Game of Thrones or whatever it may be, right? So I creep, bro. I go on all because now everything's online. So if you have the person's name, you can find a lot of stuff about who they are as a person,
Oh yeah.
and that
Oh
gives you
yeah.
that inside edge when you interview them. I mean, like in the interview, that you know how they are, like what they're like, their music taste, and so that's really important.
And I don't feel bad about it because if they're putting that information out there, why not use it? You know what I'm saying? Like if you tell me you like Game of Thrones, who am I not to use that information to start small talk with you to get the job I want? Like you put that shit out there, so hey, just putting it to use. But no, I agree. Networking is definitely important. Um, it's definitely the people you know. A lot of the times, I don't remember why I saw that statistic, but it just basically said like I think 70 or 60% of the jobs aren't even posted. It's people that know people that just give them the position. So that's why it's very important to network, very important to talk to people. If you don't have an outgoing personality, make sure you have like make sure you just try make the effort to put yourself out there, like even if you're not outgoing, just say, you know what, it's for the job. If I gotta like suck it up for 2 minutes and make small talk, that's what I gotta do for to have a steady paycheck. Hey, that's the world we live in, that's what we gotta do.
Yeah, it's true. I always remember the story that I found out at my old job. There was this guy who was, an engineer, and I was trying to figure out, like his background and everything. And come to find out, he used to be a high school coach, right,
Okay, yeah.
for football. And I'm just like, how did you go from that to become an engineer? He's like, oh yeah, my cousin-in-law or whoever, like works here, and he just put my name, to the hiring manager, and I got hired. I was like, what?
Wait,
So
so he doesn't have an
he does
engineering
not
degree?
have an engineering degree. He does not have, bro. There's no engineering background in this guy's life, but because he knew a family member or whatever in the company, he got hired. And so I'm like, it's really, who in the industry, and who is, like watching out for you, because it's not about really what you know or how you know. You know what I'm saying? So it's really important that is like some that you really push for, is to be able to put out your network as far as you can and meet other people, because that's really important, and you really can't go beyond that, I feel like.
Yeah, no, that is important. That is important. You gotta always like put your best self out there. So if you're networking, um, just make sure you have a clear idea of what you want to do, where you want to go, or even if you're taking the angle of like you're trying to find out about the person that you're networking with. People love being flattered. Once you start asking somebody, "Oh, how did you get so far in your field? How does it feel to have 20 years of experience in this area?" People will open up and start telling you all kinds of things. So, yeah, just put your best self out there and network your ass off.
Network your ass off. I like that. All right. Step 3 is to be able to do research for the job you're applying for, right? Know what they want, know what they do, who they are, like, what skills are they looking for, because you don't want to apply for a job and you get a call and you have no clue what the hell they do or what they want. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
No, that's important. The good website for that is called glassdoor.com. So if you want to know how much a certain job gets paid in your area, just go ahead to that website. It'll give you all the information that you need. You'll get to see reviews about people that currently work in the company. So if you're applying for a job and you want to know what the culture is like, whatever, people actually go to this website and they talk about their experience, good or bad or whatever. So, yeah, definitely check out glassdoor.com and go on the website of the company that you're applying for and Google the company that you're applying for. Um, I was interested in applying for this job by my house, and when I Googled the company, I realized like the CEO had like cases against him for misusing funds or whatever. I was like, nope, instantly.
Damn.
Instantly cancel my application. So yeah, just Google the company you're working for, go on their website. I would even suggest you write down like their mission statement, their core values, their beliefs or whatever. So when you go to the interview, you can actually show off, and so they know that you research the company, you research the benefits or whatever. So yeah, research is very important.
And to go beyond that, if you're really about it, you can go on LinkedIn and find a person in that company that is doing what you're applying for, and hit them up and say, hey, I'm applying, for a similar position, in your company. Would you mind just giving me some advice about, like what you do, or, what I'm saying, like stuff like that, because people will tell you exactly, how they do their job, like the culture of the company, what I'm saying? So I would reach out to people on LinkedIn all the time to see, how they really feel about the company. And that's a really little trick there that people don't do enough, I feel like. So
No, that's smart. I mean, we got to understand that back in the days, people actually had to like print out a CV or resume and go to the actual place where they want to apply. And, like now we have the internet. Like the internet, you have so many tools, so many different options at your disposal, and it's a shame to waste them. So I tell people all the time, like, use the internet for good. Like, don't just use it to watch cat videos. There's so much you can do with it.
for real. I think that's about it, though, right? For this step, just pretty much do what you can. Like use all your resources. Like things you don't think about, like Facebook, Instagram. Like use those things too. You know what I mean? Because they're a tool that you can use for that stuff. So
Yeah, be creative.
yeah.
Next is the actual application. So, like I was saying, the actual application can suck because you got to put a cover cover letter, or resume, and then you got to apply twice. So that makes it really hard. CP, what are your thoughts?
As far as applying, I mean, I think if you're looking for a job, you know, it's not a hey, I want this job, so I'm gonna apply and I'm good. Like you have to be able to put in applications like daily, like every day you should be at least putting in a few applications a day, right? Because at this point it's a numbers game. If you're looking for a job, it's a numbers game, right? So the more you apply to positions, the higher chance you're going to get of getting a call back. And so, yeah, I would just think be aggressive, be really aggressive, and apply to everything that you can find, and apply, at least every day, put in a few applications. Um, yeah, that's what I did, bro. So I don't know what else to add to that.
No, no, I agree with that. Apply, 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 apply. Like just keep applying until you get tired. Like you said, like just set a schedule, set a routine. Like, if you know you're looking for a job, every morning you wake up, you're like, all right, I'm gonna send an application or two, and then add a cover letter. I know we're not really clear on that. It really depends on the field that you're applying for. Some need a cover letter, some don't. Just in case, I would have a cover letter, just a generic one that you can edit and add that to your job applications. Like it can't hurt, so why not?
All right, so I have another tip, guys, that I'm gonna tell you guys right now. And this also applies to LinkedIn, bro. I be on LinkedIn heavy, bro. like
I can
like
tell.
FBI agent. But if you looking for a job at a certain company, right? Um, and you know for a fact that they are on a hiring spree, or they hire, quite often or whatever. What you do is you search for recruiters of that company and just add them, right? And what's
How
gonna
do you, how
happen?
do you know who the recruiter is?
So you're able to search. That's a good point. So the way I do it is I'll go on LinkedIn and I'll search like the company, right? And then I'll put, afterwards, like I'll put X, Y, and Z recruiter. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, yeah.
And when you search it, then it's gonna show you everyone who works at that company who's a recruiter. Um, or what I'll do is, to make it more broad, I'll search X, Y, and Z company, and I'll go through all the people and I'll look at their job titles, and then everyone who's a HR recruiter, TA, what I mean, all those people, I'll just add them, just add. So you keep doing that, and what's gonna happen is when they're looking for people, they go on LinkedIn to hunt for people for positions.
Oh,
So
I see.
you add enough recruiters and HR people and TA people, they're gonna be sending you a message to see if you're interested in positions at their company, because that's their job. Their job is to go out and hunt for people to get in those companies, and so they are heavy on LinkedIn, looking at people's profiles and their resumes on LinkedIn to see if you're a match. So if you do that enough and you hire enough of those people, guess what? When they're in need of people, they're gonna flag your profile, assuming that you have the right resume or background, and say, "Hey, so and so, I saw your resume. You do X, Y, and Z. I see your background. And would you be, interested in a position?" And boom, now you got them, right? And so that's what I do. It's a little tip and trick, you know what I'm saying, that people don't really use out there, but it works.
So
Trust
you
me.
tell me you're recruiting the recruiters. That's smart as
Exactly,
shit.
but they don't know that, right? So
Yeah.
by me adding them, I'm adding them because I know, if I know that a company X, Y, and Z got a new contract, so I'm like, oh, okay, so they're about to hire a lot of people, so you go heavy and just add all them people on LinkedIn, and then boom, and then they're gonna flag you and say, hey, I saw your resume. There you go. So it was all planned, but they had no clue. You know what I'm saying? So
Damn, that's smart as shit, bro.
yeah,
That's pretty
bro. I do
smart.
it all the time, and it works. You know what I'm saying? I even do it right now. I mean, I have a job right now, but I'll do it just in case I'm looking in the future. And guess what? They say, hey, how do you feel about leaving your company to come work for us? And I'm like, not right now, but I'll let you know. So
Yeah.
I'm already thinking ahead of time by doing that. So trust me, it works, and people don't understand that. Like LinkedIn is used heavily by HR and recruiters, and so I'm more on LinkedIn more than I'm on Facebook, bro. Real shit. You know what I mean? So Yeah.
That's what's up. And you never know because some jobs take a long time to give you a call. So, and even it's good that you have a job. Even if you have a job, I feel like you should still be searching for jobs. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. All right, so that was a tangent. We are on step 5, I believe, correct?
Yeah, wait and reach out. This step is pretty important because what happens is that sometimes people will apply and then they'll hound the recruiters. So you gotta look at a job like a potential relationship. You know what I'm saying? Like so if you're trying to like talk to somebody, you don't want to like blow their phone up because they're gonna be fed up with you and they're not gonna want to talk to you. So you gotta find the perfect timing. You feel me? Like you gotta apply, wait, and then when it's good, when it's a good time, you reach out and say, "Hey, just wanted to follow up on this and that," and then just let it chill. And if you don't hear anything, then you do it again. But to constantly hound a recruiter or constantly hound a hiring manager, that's the best way to lose a job opportunity.
Yeah, I would honestly say I would just do it one time, honestly. Like, I would probably, after you apply, I would wait, I would maybe a couple of days, even a week, and then reach out to them through an email or whatnot. But if you don't hear back, I mean, I don't know how much you want to keep doing that. So maybe twice at the most, but after the second time, you definitely don't want to keep hounding them, saying, "Hey, it's been 20 days now. What's going on?" Like, that's definitely not gonna work for you. So I would say once at the most, twice. And if you don't hear back, just keep it moving. So, yeah.
Yeah, I want to share the story. I interviewed this girl, and then basically what she did was she showed up to my office, bro. I was like, what? A week? Well, I think it was a week, and I hadn't reached back out to her, and she just showed up. She's like, hey, I wanted to know if there's any updates. I was just so shocked. I didn't know what to say. I was like,
I'd be like, you hired. That's called termination, bro. You hired. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, nah, that was pretty dope. That was pretty dope. So it really depends. Like it really depends on what field you're in, what job you're looking for. Some people like that because they like to see that you're determined and you do what it takes. But some people don't want to be bothered. So you just got to find something in the middle where it's not too much.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree. So, did she get hired or nah?
Nah, well, I did. No,
Damn,
no, no,
that's
no.
messed up,
I
bro.
extended the offer to her. It's just after all of that, she was like, "Nah, that's not gonna work with my schedule." I was like, "So you really did all that?
For no
Not."
reason.
Yeah.
That's
So
funny. Okay. Nah, but that's important because like before I used to apply and just wait. You know what I'm saying? Just never hear anything back from them. But so I feel like if you reach out, it shows that you're, what I'm saying, more like willing to go out and get it. You know what I mean? So I think that's important.
yeah, no, that's definitely important. So on to the next step, the actual interview. So all the hard work is paying off. You got an interview. So basically, when it comes time to the interview, I mean, there's a couple of things that I would say. So let's start with. I don't know why, but I just keep thinking about what you're gonna wear, like, because I think that's one of the most important things for an interview is your outfit. Like that's the first impression you make. So I would say dress up and dress up professionally. What are your thoughts?
No, I agree. I always dress up to an interview. I'm always wearing a shirt. I used to do a shirt and tie, but now that I'm already in the industry, I'll do just like a button up. You know what I mean? But yeah, you always just dress up, dress shoes. So yeah, like you never want to go and look casual. So yeah.
Yeah, no, for sure. I've interviewed people and they've come in yoga pants. They've come in just like t-shirt and jeans. This guy came with a nose ring. So I mean, like,
What
not
the
to.
fuck?
I know, not to be judgy. I'm just saying, like, you got to match the environment. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you're interviewing for like a to be a musician, you can go however you want. If you're interviewing to be a tattoo artist, it's a little bit more of a relaxed environment. But if you're going into a corporate setting, like, just try to be like the people that you're gonna work with. At least give that impression. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, I definitely agree. So yeah, like dress according to your field, essentially. Um, you should try to get there. obviously a little bit early than normal, but not too early. Because if you show up mad early, then it means that you are a little desperate. You know what I'm saying? So at least 15 minutes prior, you show up to the interview.
Yeah, I would say get there early and just wait in your car. Cause the reason why I say that is, wait in your car and then go upstairs or go to wherever you're going and wait for like a good 10 minutes. The reason why I say that is because if you're like, all right, I'm gonna get there 15 minutes early, right? What happens is that you can get lost for 15 minutes. So, so that your 15 minutes really turns into you being late. So at least get there. I want to say like get there 30 minutes before. So then if you don't get lost, then you can just sit in your car for like 10, 15 minutes and then go to wherever you need to go.
Sure. You want to hear a funny story though? So I had an interview recently, and I showed up. I showed up early. About 10 minutes early. And so the room that I was supposed to have the interview, I look in the room like from outside, and I see people in there, and they all look like they're about to do an interview. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a panel interview, right?
Yeah.
So I walk in, but apparently there was an interview before my interview
Oh,
taking
shit.
place. Yeah, but it was like a phone interview or whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
So when I looked in, I didn't see anybody else sitting down being interviewed. You feel me?
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
just saw the people, sitting down to do my interview. So I walked in thinking that it was for me, but nah, they were on the phone doing a phone interview, bro. And I'm like, this is the most awkward shit, bro. Cause I walk in, I'm shaking hands, bro. You know what I'm saying? And they're like,
And
oh,
nobody said
sir.
anything.
But they're like, sir, we have an interview. I'm like, yeah, it's my interview. Like, nah, we have one right now. I'm like, oh. So I had to walk back outside, bro. That shit was so awkward, dog. That shit was so awkward. So I said that to say, like, when you get there, like, I don't know, just make sure that there's people in there that are for you and not one that's being done prior. Because a lot of people do that. You know what I'm saying? It'll be staggered interview. It'll be one before, like one after in the same room. And
Right.
so you want to walk in super early, or you know what I'm saying, and it's like a different interview. That was about awkward. So
Yeah, no, definitely try to be aware of your surroundings because you never know. Like when you go into an interview, you're probably not even thinking because you're nervous. You know what I'm saying? Like
bruh.
just just try to like breathe, do breathing exercises, so you can be relaxed and aware of what's happening. No, that's a good point.
Yeah. All right. So as far as the interview, I'm not sure how this works because some companies will negotiate during the interview, which is rare. Some will do it after, but I guess is that the next step? Am I missing a step here?
But before that, how do you answer? Okay, so let you get to the interview. You have your nice suit or dress on or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I would say make sure you bring something to write on. You never know what they're gonna ask you or tell you, and then that's also an accessory. People like random shit. So if you want to bring like a nice like resume holder or something to write on, like if you want to bring a really fancy one, like that's also a display of your personality, and that's something. It can give people something to talk about. They can be like, "Wow, nice case holder." You can be like, "Yeah, I got it at Target, whatever," and then that starts a conversation. So
Yeah,
that's
and during the interview too, like I don't know about you, bro, but I write shit down, even if it's BS, bro. Like you know how you go to an interview and they're asking you questions and then they take notes,
yeah.
right? I'm taking notes too. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, yeah. So nigga, I'm gonna take notes. So it's awkward to just sit there while people just write about you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So I'll sit
that
there and
makes
I'm like,
sense.
yep, I'm gonna write about y'all niggas too. So I'll be writing shit down too, just to like make it seem like, yeah, this. I'm like, but anyway, I was saying in the interview, like, never talk about your salary or vacations, like anything of that sort, like PTO, vacations, or like time off. Like, don't unless they bring it up. I would not bring it up first because it's an awkward thing to bring up in an interview. I think.
Yeah, I mean, you can bring it up, but you got to do it a certain way. I would wait until at the end when they ask, "Do you have any questions?" Then I would ask, like, "What are some of the benefits?" Whatever. That's always an okay question to ask. And I think it's also okay to ask, "What's the range for the salary um,
Bruh,
for the
nah, bro. You
position?"
don't ever ask about salary, bro. I mean, because I feel like they should be able to tell you that. like from their end. No, that's what I'm
No,
used to.
I think that's a fair question. I think asking for a range is, I think that's a good question because sometimes the people that are interviewing you want to bring it up and they don't know how to bring it up.
But that's their
Um,
job to bring it up. Like, and plus, if you go on Glassdoor, as you said, I can see what the range is, right? So I can use that as like information to know when they bring it up what I want to be able to ask them. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, but I like to get things out of the way because I don't want somebody to lowball me. Like, if I'm getting to the end of the interview and it's like really the end and we don't know like what's happening with the salary, then it's like I'm like, okay, what's the range, whatever. I know that's like taboo, but I usually bring salary up. I at least ask the range, and then
Well,
I
no, go ahead.
and then I say what I'm making currently. Is that something that you'd be able to match? Like I just lay that shit on the table, like,
Well, as far
straight
as that
up.
goes, so I guess now we're on step 7, which is to negotiate.
Mm-hmm.
And that part, it depends on when it happens. It's based on the company. It can happen from the recruiter up front. It could happen on the back end in the interview. But my rule of thumb is when you're negotiating stuff, you should never bring up a number first, because essentially whoever says the first number is gonna lose the game. You know what I'm saying? So if they ask you, hey, how much how much do you make right now? You can be like, well, I rather like not say at the moment, and I'm looking for market value. I always use that word. I'm looking for market value, and then have them tell me a number um, before I can, you know what I'm saying, like respond.
Yeah, and then something I always say is I'm flexible or I'm willing to negotiate just to let them make them feel a little bit easier. Like you're not dead set on a number. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So just let them know that you're flexible, willing to negotiate, and like if there's any bonuses and stuff like that. A lot of times, the interview is the best place to actually talk about that because they might have different bonuses or whatever. So yeah, it really depends on your field and the company that you're interviewing with too. So yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and and when you think about like benefits, it's not just about your salary, because it could be a whole bunch of stuff. It could be like PTO time off. It could be like your medical stuff, your 401k. So think more than just the salary number, but think about the overall package of what they're offering you, because that does matter. So
No, it does matter. Are they close to your house? Do they offer flex schedule or opportunities for travel? So there's a lot that really goes into it. You're right. It's not just a number. I wanted to go back to number 6 for the interview. When somebody asks you like, tell me about yourself, how do you answer that question?
okay, so before in the past, I used to like say, oh, where I'm from. Hey, this is where I came from. This is what I do. This is where I went to high school. This is where I went to college, and that's the wrong thing to do. So when they ask you about that, what they're really asking you is, tell me about your past experiences that apply to this job. So then I'll go into, hey, at my last job or at my current job, I do this, this, and that. And this is how I think it applies to this position. And this is why, I want to be able to use my skills to be able to transfer. You know what I'm saying? Like, you want to keep everything that they ask you about yourself, about your job skills and your past job experiences. You know what I mean? And yeah.
I agree with that, but I also think that sometimes people kind of want to know a little bit about your personality, so they can know what kind of coworker they would be getting or something like that. To see if you'd be a good fit for the company's culture. So I think you should do a mixture of both. Yeah, no, I agree because a lot of times I'm just like, oh, I was born here. I went to school there. I always say where I went to school because you never know when you might find a fellow alumni.
Right.
So I always say where I went to school. Um, I say how people describe me. I'm like, people describe me as hardworking, blah blah blah.
Hmm.
Um, I let them know I don't have no kids, so
Oh my God.
nah,
Yeah.
I just kind of slipped that in there. You know what I'm saying? Like, so if you need me to work weekends or travel, that's not a problem at all. You feel me? Just like selling myself. But nah, everything matters. So, but yeah, it's a question that you have to be careful with because people judge you on whatever you mention in that part.
And to your point, It's based on your industry because I'm in a very technical field, as an engineer. So that question is gonna be more about like my skills. But yeah, if it's like a different field, I would do a mixture, right? Say where you're from, like what you do and everything, but always add in like your job experiences in that answer to that question. You know what I'm saying? So I would go from like where you're from, what you do, hobbies, all this stuff, but then also add hey I worked here, I work here, and this is how it applies to this. You know what I'm saying? So I think doing a blend of that answer is probably the best way to go, based on your industry and what you do. So yeah.
Yeah, no, that's true. Um, I mean, and it helps if you have an interviewer that you connect with. There's nothing better than walking into an interview and you find somebody that you can actually connect with and talk to and feel relaxed with. The worst is when you go to an interview and you feel like the person's cold, or you feel like they're not giving you any sign of how you're doing in the interview. Um, or when somebody asks you about your favorite sports team and you don't watch sports and you're like, ah, shit, this interview's blown.
Nah, you make it up. You know what I'm saying? You got the Lakers, you got the Miami Heat. But nah, you know what's crazy? And I'm gonna say it, I don't care. Is when I walk into an interview and I see a black person, bro, and I'm just like, fuck yeah, hell yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't know about you, but having a black person on a panel, I just feel like they can relate to me and I can relate to them, and I feel like I can kind of use all the energy in the room and kind of, you know what I'm saying, use the energy also as like a way to be able to guide all my answers. You know what I mean? So
I agree. No, I'll be making, if you're the only black person in the room, I'm making strong eye contact. Like, bro, you got me. Like,
facts, bro. So I mean, it's true. It's that's how it is. Like most interviews, you walk in there, it's a bunch of white people in there. So I mean, if you have a person that's black or brown, if you know what I'm saying, it's being able to relate to that person is key. And so that's what I do.
yeah, no, agreed. And then the last step is send a thank you note. So after you do the interview, send a thank you note to the person and say thank you for your time, whatever. I was reading this article and it was saying that there's a hiring manager that doesn't hire people because they don't send a thank you note. I think that's dumb. I think that's stupid. But I say whatever way it takes for you to stand out. So imagine if they had like 20 interviews that day and you're the only person that took the time out of your day to send a thank you note. That's your way of standing out. So whatever little edge you can get, use it. So that's why I think sending a thank you note is important. What do you think?
I agree. I would also say don't make it bland and generic, right? So if there was a conversation in the interview, something that came up, some kind of hobby, like anything that you were able to relate to that person, put it in there. Like make it personable, so when they read it, they're like, oh yeah, I remember this kid, I remember this guy, I remember that. You know what I'm saying? He liked this and that. So don't make it generic. Don't make it like a very broad statement. So just make it personal and try to remember a conversation in the interview that you can put in there. You know what I mean? And make it more personable. So that's what I would say.
Yeah, no, that's smart. I agree with that. Okay, so those are our 8 steps for getting your first interview or getting an interview. Anything else you want to add, CP, about this?
Um, nah. I mean, I think that's pretty good stuff. And I would say like once you get a job, just pay it forward, man, and go out and help someone that needs it.
Oh, I
Needs
thought
their
you were gonna
resume.
say give us 50% of your first paycheck because we helped
Oh
you out.
nah.
Yeah.
I mean, you could do that. I'll take that too. Let me know. But I was
Shit.
just saying, if you find someone else that in the future that is struggling or needs help with their resume, just pay it forward, man. Like right now, I have a lot of people who are asking me to look at their resume. You know what I'm saying? I take time out of my day to do it because I remember being in that moment. You know what I'm saying? And so just pay it forward and help out people that you can. With tips and tricks and things like that. So it's really important. So.
Nah, for sure, for sure. All right, y'all. So this is our second installment of our new series about how to do grown up shit. You feel me? So so yeah, tune into the next episode. This is Caesar, and I'll see you guys later.
All right, guys, and this is CP, and as he's just mentioned, this is pretty much how to scam life. You know what I'm saying? As black and brown people, you know what I mean? Because it's not the same process out there for people who look like us. And so, just little tips and tricks out there about how to navigate, you know, the a corporate world or whatnot. But yeah, so we're gonna have a Facebook group that we're gonna create. And so if you want to be added to it, let us know and we'll add you to it. And you can, you know, ask questions, post stuff, and so on and so forth. And yeah, see you guys next time. We out.